Liu Yifei's career is a study in startling contradictions. To millions, she is the ethereal fairy sister, an icon of Chinese television who seemed to float into stardom overnight. To the rest of the world, she is the face of Mulan, a star whose name became inseparable from global political firestorms and calls for boycotts. Her journey charts an almost unbelievable path, from a beloved teen prodigy in China to the center of international controversy, and finally, to a powerful and strategic resurgence. This is the story of how an American citizen became China's national darling, how a Disney princess sparked a global backlash, and how she navigated the treacherous waters of fame to reclaim her own narrative. For more deep dives into the complex lives of global icons, be sure to subscribe to our channel for new videos every week. The story of Liu Yifei's early career reads like a modern fairy tale, a whirlwind of improbable luck and instant stardom that few ever experience. It began when she was just a teenager. Having spent a portion of her childhood in Queens, New York, she returned to her birth country of China in 2002 with a clear ambition to become an actress. It was a bold move, driven by a passion that belied her years. She was almost immediately accepted into the prestigious Beijing Film Academy, becoming one of the youngest students in its history. This alone was a remarkable achievement. But what happened next was truly extraordinary. Before she had even deeply settled into her studies, the world of television came calling. She was cast in The Story of a Noble Family, a lavish period drama that would become a cultural phenomenon. The series was a ratings juggernaut, capturing the nation's attention and making its young, relatively unknown actress a household name overnight. Liu played a proud, beautiful heiress, a role that showcased her striking looks and poised demeanor. Audiences were captivated. At just 15, she possessed a maturity and screen presence that was rare. She was not just a new face, she was an arrival. The success of this single role launched her into the upper echelons of the Chinese entertainment industry with breathtaking speed. If her debut made her famous, her next roles would make her an icon. She was chosen for a key part in the television adaptation of Demigods and Semi-Devils, a classic wuxia novel. Wuxia, a genre of martial arts fantasy deeply embedded in Chinese culture, demands a certain ethereal quality from its heroines, and Liu fit the bill perfectly. She portrayed Wang Yuyan, a character renowned for her almost otherworldly beauty. It was this role that earned her the nickname that would define the first chapter of her career, Fairy Sister. The name stuck, becoming a shorthand for her public image. It perfectly encapsulated her on-screen persona, pure, graceful, and seemingly untouched by the mortal world. She followed this success with another immensely popular fantasy series, Chinese Paladin, and then perhaps her most famous early role, Xiao Longnu in The Return of the Condor Heroes. Playing Xiao Longnu, or Little Dragon Girl, cemented her status as the reigning queen of period dramas. The character, who lives in an ancient tomb and practices a mystical form of martial arts, was another perfect match for her fairy sister image. Her performances in these series were more than just popular. They helped define a specific aesthetic for the era's television, and she became the face of it. For millions of viewers, she was the living embodiment of the heroines from their favorite classic stories. However, this rapid ascent was not without its complications. As her fame intensified, so did the public's scrutiny of her life. The fact that she held American citizenship began to surface as a point of contention for some. In a country with a strong sense of national pride, the idea that one of its most beloved new stars, a fairy sister who represented a classic Chinese ideal of beauty, was not a Chinese citizen was a difficult concept for some to accept. It was a low murmur at first, a detail noted in celebrity magazines and online forums, but it planted the first seeds of a controversy that would follow her for years. It was the first sign that her unique international background could be both an asset and a liability. At the same time, Liu began her transition from television sensation to movie star, a notoriously difficult leap for many actors. Her first major foray into international film was The Forbidden Kingdom, a high-budget martial arts epic that put her alongside legends like Jackie Chan and Jet Li. On the surface, it was a dream project, an opportunity to showcase her skills to a global audience. The film performed reasonably well and introduced her to Western viewers, but it also marked a turning point in the perception of her acting. The demands of the big screen were different, and critics began to question whether her talent extended beyond her well-established persona. While her beauty and grace were undeniable, some reviews pointed to a perceived lack of emotional depth. The fairy sister image, once her greatest asset, was starting to feel like a beautiful cage. The very qualities that made her perfect for her iconic television roles were now being seen as limitations, raising questions about her versatility as she sought to prove herself as a serious film actress. This period, from 2008 onwards, was a constant effort to break free from the mold she herself had so perfectly created. A struggle to show the world that there was more to her than the flawless, celestial being she had so convincingly portrayed on screen. The role felt like destiny. In 2017, after a monumental year-long global search that saw Disney audition nearly 1,000 candidates, Liu Yifei was officially announced as the star of the live-action Mulan. It was the kind of career-defining role that actors dream of, a bridge between East and West, and a chance to embody a beloved warrior princess for a new generation. The decision was initially met with widespread celebration. For many, it was a victory for representation, a sign that a major Hollywood studio was taking care to cast an ethnically Chinese actress in this iconic role. It seemed like the perfect culmination of her journey, the ultimate validation of her talent on the world stage. The film, backed by Disney's immense marketing power, was poised to make her a true international superstar, moving her far beyond the fairy sister image that had long defined her. For a time, the future looked blindingly bright. Then, in the summer of 2019, the narrative fractured. As massive pro-democracy protests swelled across Hong Kong, drawing global attention, Liu made a fateful post on Waybo, the dominant social media platform in mainland China. She shared an image and a quote from a state-run newspaper that read, "I support the Hong Kong police. You can all attack me now." To this, she added her own words of endorsement. The reaction outside of China was immediate and severe. International observers who saw the Hong Kong police as agents of an authoritarian crackdown on protesters demanding freedom were aghast. Liu's statement was viewed not as a simple opinion, but as a clear declaration of support for police brutality, and a stand against the very democratic values that many felt Mulan herself would have championed. Almost instantly, the hashtag #Boycott Mulan began to trend on Twitter and other platforms. The movement was fueled by a potent sense of betrayal. Activists, particularly in Hong Kong and other parts of Asia, argued that the star of a film about a hero who fights against oppression was ironically siding with the oppressors. The controversy cast a long, dark shadow over the film's entire production. What was meant to be a celebratory, empowering blockbuster was now deeply entangled in a complex and volatile political conflict. Liu Yifei found herself at the epicenter of a firestorm, caught between the nationalist expectations of her massive Chinese fanbase and the liberal democratic values held by much of the global audience Disney hoped to attract. Her subsequent silence on the issue did little to quell the anger, and for many, the film was already tainted long before it ever reached the screen. When Mulan was finally released in 2020, not in theaters as planned, but on the Disney Plus streaming service due to the global pandemic, a second, even more damning controversy erupted. Eagle-eyed viewers watching the end credits noticed something deeply disturbing. The film gave special thanks to multiple government agencies in Xinjiang. This included the Public Security Bureau in the city of Turpin, an entity directly implicated in the administration of the region's notorious internment camps. The Xinjiang region is the site of what numerous governments and human rights organizations have described as an ongoing genocide against the Uyghur people and other Muslim minorities. The revelation that Disney had not only filmed in the region, but had actively cooperated with and thanked the very propaganda and security departments accused of facilitating these atrocities was a profound shock. The Boycott Mulan movement surged with renewed vigor, now drawing condemnation from a much broader spectrum, including US politicians from both major parties. The criticism was scathing. Disney was accused of turning a blind eye to human rights abuses in pursuit of market access in China. The film, a story about honor and fighting for one's people, was now inextricably linked to one of the most pressing human rights crises of the modern era. For Liu Yifei, the Mulan era, which had once promised to be her coronation as a global star, had become a lesson in the treacherous landscape of international celebrity, where a single sentence or a line in the credits can ignite a global firestorm and forever alter the legacy of a film and its star. After the global whirlwind that was the Mulan era, a period defined by immense political pressure and fractured public perception, Liu Yifei faced a critical turning point. The path to global superstardom, once seeming so certain, was now fraught with complication. Instead of getting lost in the Hollywood machine or fading under the weight of the controversy, she executed a strategic and profoundly successful pivot. She returned home, not in defeat, but for a calculated and triumphant renaissance. The years that followed saw her deliberately turn her focus back to the domestic Chinese television industry, the very place where her star had first been ignited. This move would not only salvage her career, but elevate it to new heights, demonstrating a quiet resilience and a shrewd understanding of her audience and her own strengths. It was a period of professional reconstruction and personal evolution, allowing her to reclaim her narrative on her own terms. Her comeback began in earnest with A Dream of Splendor, a historical drama that premiered in 2022. It was her first television series in 16 years, a long absence that had built up significant anticipation. The show was an immediate runaway success. It garnered massive viewership numbers and exploded on social media. But more importantly, it earned widespread critical acclaim. On Douban, a notoriously discerning Chinese review platform, the series received an exceptionally high rating, a testament to its quality. The show's plot, centered on three women who overcome societal prejudice to build a successful business in the Song Dynasty, resonated deeply with modern audiences. It was praised for its sophisticated storytelling, stunning production design, and its empowering portrayal of female solidarity. At the center of it all was Liu Yifei's performance. Viewers and critics noted a marked evolution in her acting. The old criticisms of her being a beautiful but passive presence on screen faded away. In their place was praise for a more grounded, mature, and emotionally nuanced performance. She imbued her character, the resilient and intelligent tea house owner, Zhao Panner, with a quiet strength and a tangible world weariness that felt both authentic and compelling. The success was monumental. It was not just a hit. It was a cultural event that single-handedly revitalized her public image in China. She was no longer just the fairy sister of old, nor the embattled star of a controversial blockbuster. She was a formidable actress, carrying a prestigious and beloved drama on her capable shoulders. She wisely built on this momentum. Her next project, Meet Yourself, released in 2023, was another masterstroke. Trading the historical grandeur of her previous series for a gentle, contemporary setting, the show was a slice-of-life drama about a woman who, after a personal tragedy, leaves her high-pressure city job to find healing in a quiet village in Yunnan. The series was a balm for a post-pandemic audience, celebrated for its slow-paced, heartfelt storytelling and its stunning cinematography. It was another ratings hit, but its cultural impact was even more remarkable. The show was credited with single-handedly sparking a massive tourism boom in the Yunnan province, a phenomenon that demonstrated her incredible influence. Her performance as Xu Hongdu was again praised for its subtlety and relatability. She projected a quiet, introspective calm that anchored the entire series, proving she could be just as captivating in a simple t-shirt and jeans as she was in elaborate historical costumes. This strategic choice of roles signaled a new chapter. She was selecting projects that were not only popular, but also well-written and thematically rich, focusing on character-driven stories about modern female identity, resilience, and self-discovery. This careful curation continued with The Tale of Rose, a 2024 drama that followed a woman's life and romantic journey over 2 decades. The role allowed her to showcase a wider range than ever before, portraying a character from spirited youth to mature adulthood. Once again, the show dominated social media discussions and ratings, solidifying a remarkable 3-year streak of successful, high-quality television dramas. She had achieved a level of consistent success and critical respect in television that had perhaps eluded her during her earlier film career. Throughout this period of professional resurgence, her public persona also underwent a significant transformation. The intense political controversies of the Mulan era seemed to recede into the background, replaced by a more intimate and managed public image. She remained a private person, largely avoiding the kind of overexposure common among her peers. Her social media presence became a carefully curated collection of personal moments. Photos of her beloved cats, books she was reading, casual selfies without makeup, and glimpses of her artwork. This created an image of an artist who was thoughtful, introspective, and living a full life outside the glare of the spotlight. This approach made her feel more grounded and relatable to her fans. She also began to publicly embrace the fairy sister nickname that she had once resisted. In interviews, she acknowledged it with grace, framing it as a medal from a specific time in her life, a cherished memory rather than a creative constraint. This shift showed a newfound confidence and self-acceptance. She no longer seemed burdened by the need to violently break from her past image. Instead, she was integrating all parts of her journey into a more complex and mature identity. This quiet confidence extended to her physical image as well. In an industry notoriously obsessed with extreme thinness, she often defied conventional beauty standards, becoming a subtle advocate for a healthier and more realistic body image, a choice that earned her admiration for her self-assurance. Despite her lower public profile, her commercial value soared. She secured lucrative global ambassador roles with top-tier luxury brands like Louis Vuitton and Bulgari, a clear indicator of her sustained and even enhanced status in the industry. These endorsements were a testament to her unique position, an actress with immense popularity in the crucial Chinese market, who also possessed a global recognition that few of her contemporaries could match. She had successfully navigated the treacherous waters of controversy, not by confronting it head-on, but by strategically redirecting her career, focusing on quality work, and cultivating a public image of quiet dignity and artistic integrity. She emerged from the fire not unscathed, but stronger, more respected, and more in control of her own destiny than ever before. From the perfect fairy sister to the embattled star of a global blockbuster, Liu Yifei's journey has been anything but simple. She faced a level of international scrutiny that could have ended her career, becoming a symbol of the complex intersection between entertainment and geopolitics. Yet, instead of fading away, she demonstrated remarkable resilience. By returning to her roots and choosing her projects with immense care, she not only survived the controversy, but engineered one of the most successful comebacks in recent memory. Today, she stands as a more respected, mature, and powerful figure than ever before, a testament to the power of strategic silence and the undeniable appeal of quality work. Her story is a modern lesson in navigating fame in a deeply divided world. What do you think of her incredible journey? Let us know below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.